Hey guys, this is Rico the Fox Kid, and the ban list is coming up in about a week or so, or that's at least when it's going to be released. So, I was going to make a video and tell you guys what my predictions and how I feel what should happen to the ban list is going to be. So, I may do this in two parts, depending on how much time it takes for me to go in depth with what I feel should happen. So, we'll see how that goes. So first off, I'll go with the cards I think should be banned. The first one, I'm actually kind of half and half on this. It's Dark Armed Dragon, which I'm half and half on this because it's kind of biased because Dark Armed Dragon is one of my favorite cards. But the reason I think Dad may be warranted for a ban is because he's used in Blackwing decks, and Blackwings are still really big, and they've been big since they've come out. Every format, no matter what we do to Blackwings, are still up there. In fact, they're considered the best counter against the 6 Samurais right now. And it's pretty much, we've done a bunch of things to hit Blackwings down to put them in check, and they're still up there. We've hit, they hit Gale, and then they hit Allure, and then they hit Allure again, and then they hit Black Whirlwind, and then they hit Black Whirlwind again, and the Blackwings are still up there. And I feel that if we hit Dad, that may just be the last thing the Blackwings need to just kind of settle down. They'll still be up there, but they won't be like a dominating force, or at least that's closest to what they've ever been in terms of a dominating force. So I'm still just kind of half and half on this. Dad, I feel, is just still too powerful anyway. He's splashable in just about any dark deck, so yeah, Dad, he could go. I wouldn't be surprised. Next up was, I've thought this all format, Monster Reborn needs to go again. I still don't get why they brought this back. Monster Reborn is one of the biggest luck sack cards in the game. I cannot count how many times I've been testing a deck and I'm really close to winning and then I lose because the opponent top decks a Monster Reborn. It's not right, it's messed up, it throws way too much luck into the game. You're just praying for a Monster Reborn and you can win this game. And I still don't get why they brought it back, because Monster Reborn was back for a few formats and then they realized, wait, this is really messed up, we need to ban it again. And then they brought it back. It's really just doesn't make sense. So Monster Reborn needs to go as well. And then the third card I'd like to be banned is one that everyone's talking about. This is likely just really, it's gonna happen because everyone knows this has to happen. They need to ban Cold Wave, because Cold Wave, it starts OTKs, stops your opponent from doing anything, and even stops them from doing anything into their next turn. So it pretty much locks them out for 2 turns, which is not right. It makes so many decks that focus on OTKs and just big explosive game endings, it just makes them really consistent, and it's not healthy for a game. Everyone knows this. Everyone's saying Cold Wave is going to be banned. It's probably going to be banned. And on the subject of Cold Wave, I'm also going to say they should probably also ban Giant Trunade, which that one's people are kind of split on that because Giant Trunade's not as nearly as broken as Cold Wave. I'd still say it's too overpowered though, because it's not really countered by anything except outside of Solemn Judgment and Dark Bribe, which frankly not a lot of people run Dark Bribe anymore. So Giant Trunade also works as a game ender card, and I still think, well, people might be wondering why would you hit Cold Wave and Giant Trunade, then back row is just going to be insanely huge. So then that's why I'm going into the limited cards now. With Cold Wave and Giant Trunade gone, I say we could probably get back Heavy Storm, which I think should happen. We need Heavy Storm back, because this format, people are setting 3, 4, 5 cards without even worrying about what could happen to them, which never happened before, because we would have Heavy Storm. So people, unless they had Starlight Road, wouldn't even think about setting 2 or more cards, just in case your opponent had Heavy Storm. And Heavy Storm is actually a lot easier to stop than Cold Wave or Giant Trunade, because Heavy Storm's stopped by my bot. No, not my bot, it is Shield. Never mind. Well, for one, it's stopped by, I just completely lost my train of thought. Well, it's stopped by Starlight Road, that's a big thing. Starlight Road was playable because Heavy Storm was legal. And people might argue it's like, if Heavy Storm comes back, then they need to ban Dark Hole. I really don't think that needs to happen. Dark Hole, actually, it's not that bad of a card. It was nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be for the format. Dark Hole actually helps pretty well. It's kind of sacky, but it helps stop like people from overextending too much because you might just punish them with a dark hole. And that's Heavy Storm could come back with Cold Wave, Giant Trunade gone. Dark Hole could still stay in the game hopefully, and if Cold Wave and Giant Trunade are both gone, then I could still see MST staying at 2, even if Heavy Storm's at 1. It just kind of keeps spell and trap cards in check. It stops people from setting so much back row all at once. Heavy Storm should come back if we lose Cold Wave and Giant Trunade. And the next one, this is going to be pretty obvious, especially with Storm of Ragnarok out now. And that's Gateway of the Six, because this card is just insane. You summon 2 Samurais, that's already 4 counters for it, you get to search, and you just keep looping that over and over and over. It's especially easy if you have 2 Gateway, where just summoning 1 Samurai, you get to loop that over and over and over. And you can get a field full of 5 Samurais, and that should not be allowed at all. It's not right. And Gateway is the reason Sams are so good. I mean, they have a lot of other good cards, but Gateway is the thing that makes them insanely good. And so limiting Gateway to 1 will make it a little bit harder to pull them off. It'll make it'll make them a good deck, just not overpowered. So Gateway at 1 should happen. I'm not sure if it will though, because Storm Ragnarok just came out, so Samurais just got up to the top tier. So Konami may just want to keep them up there for one format. Kind of praying Gateway goes to 1 though. Next up, I'm not sure this is going to happen. I think it should, but it might not, because Gravekeepers are not really big in Japan because they don't have Recruiter yet. But the card I'm talking about that I want to hit to 1 is Royal Tribute. And the reason Royal Tribute should go to 1 is this, it can make the game incredibly lopsided for whoever plays it. What most people do is they search for Necro Valor with so many ways Gravekeepers can do it. They use Recruiter into Command In, or just discard Command In that they start with the opening hand. Use Pot of Duality, find it, all that stuff. Get Necro Valley onto the field, set your entire hand, and then play Royal Tribute. Not only do you not get to see anything in your opponent's hand because they set it all, but you just lost all your monsters. Which doesn't hurt Gravekeepers that much because they don't run many monsters in the first place. And Royal Tribute's just... so many games are lost because of a played Royal Tribute, where you have like all these monsters that you want to bring out and you can't because of Royal Tribute. And not even like a card like Dandelion would be able to stop Royal Tribute, because 2 fluff tokens really, they don't generate that much advantage, especially if you're not gonna have any other monsters to use them with. Royal Tribute's not good for the game. It might stay at 3 though, just because Gravekeepers are not doing anything in Japan. So that probably might not happen. And then I mentioned Dandelion when I was talking about Royal Tribute, and I actually want Dandelion to go to 1 also. The reason for that is because Dandelion generates so much advantage with all these fluff tokens that you can pull off with it, and that's what makes Plant Synchro so powerful. It's that you generate so many fluff tokens, you have so much control with your synchros, and if you really have no choice, then just go into Formula Synchron and draw another card. The deck's incredibly consistent, incredibly powerful. It's at the top in the TCG and the OCG, so I could really see Dandelion going to 1. And then Konami usually brings back a card or 2 off of the ban list with every loop, and the 2 I could see most likely, not counting Heavy Storm. So one of these 2, along with Heavy Storm, or if they're crazy and don't bring Heavy Storm back, I could see either of these coming back. The first one is Tsukiyomi, because everyone talks about this one a lot. Tsukiyomi does not do anything really at all that's incredibly powerful. It takes that 1 summon to use. People argue that if you use Tsukiyomi, or Tsukiyomi becomes legal, then people will be afraid to summon any monster that has less than 1100 defense, because Tsukiyomi can just go against any monster that has 1100 defense, flip it face down and attack, and it's automatically destroyed. Like, that sounds broken at first, but when you look into it, it's really not that bad. I mean, it's nothing Book of Moon couldn't pull off. And Tsukiyomi actually has a restriction. You can only use it once per turn. You give up your summon for it. Book of Moon doesn't have that restriction. Book of Moon, you can use it on your opponent's turn. You can summon even after you use Book of Moon and all that stuff. So Tsukiyomi is really not that bad, although I would test it at 1 for now just to see how it does. I wouldn't see Tsukiyomi doing anything. And then the other card is Tribe Infecting Virus, which I can see this as an effective counter against 6 Sams and Gravekeepers, and they will. Tribe Infecting Virus can help get rid of them. It's not anything worse than a Lightning Vortex with legs, so it's. I wouldn't bring it back to more than 1 though, because it is a Lightning Vortex with legs. 1600 to attack isn't really much, but it is something. Okay, I'm hitting the 11-minute mark, so I'll go into the rest of the list predictions that I have in the next video, so stay tuned for that.